As is customary, all three of Oklahoma's U.S. attorneys resigned their posts last Sunday night. Timothy Downing in the Western District, Brian Kuester in the Eastern District, and Trent Shores in the Northern District were all appointed by Donald Trump, and their permanent replacements will now be determined by the Biden administration. I had a chance to speak with Trent Shores, who's worked for the U.S. Department of Justice since 2003.
It's a bittersweet moment for certain. I have been with the Justice Department now for nearly 18 years, and I think we've got the best mission of any federal agency, pursuing truth and seeking justice. And for me, it's tough to walk away, especially in the midst of the fight.
Help us end this cycle of violence.
I certainly would have been honored to have carried on the tradition. It's a political appointment, but it's not a political position. But elections have consequences, and one of those consequences is that the president gets to pick his United States attorneys, and that's totally appropriate.
The Northern District covers 11 counties and includes 13 federally recognized Indian tribes. And the responsibilities of the U.S. Attorney's Office changed dramatically when the Supreme Court announced its McGirt decision last summer. So with McGirt, tell me how your caseload has increased over the last several months.
Since that decision came down in the middle of July, we've received over 750 cases for review for prosecution. And to put that into context, that's about 300% more than we would in a normal year. It's astronomical. The staggering number of case referrals that we see on a daily basis has really impacted our ability to pursue sort of the normal day-to-day business that we would do in any other year.
Shores, who is a member of the Choctaw Nation, led a group of 55 attorneys, not enough to handle the increased caseload.
We still have some prosecutors who are here volunteering to help us prosecute. We have about 12 total volunteers. And then, of course, the attorneys who came out and are helping us in the courtroom. They've been a godsend, actually.
Given the McGirt decision, though, would you agree this is a particularly tough time to change U.S. attorneys in Oklahoma?
You've hit the nail on the head. I mean, certainly you're not walking into the easiest of U.S. attorney jobs, given everything that we're looking at right now. We're still in the midst of a global pandemic. And then you sort of layer on top of all of that the McGirt decision and its impact. We look at the missing and murdered Indigenous persons crisis that impacts Oklahoma significantly, given our large Native American population. And yeah, there are a lot of challenges, I think, that will be sitting here for someone on day one.
It's a challenge and calling this Oklahoma native first heard and felt as a high school student in Edmond, Oklahoma.
Let's go! Come on, man, let's go!
They say there was possibly another bomb in this area. They don't know where.
I'll never forget the day that I felt the ground shake under my feet and would later learn that the Murrah building in Oklahoma City had been blown up by a domestic terrorist. And I'll never forget hearing the names of my classmates read over the intercom, and you knew that if they were called to the front office that they'd lost a parent. And then when I was in law school, the Twin Towers went down as a result of an international terrorist attack. And those two things really drew my attention to the Justice Department.
So what is Trent Shores going to do next?
I'm really excited to join a Tulsa-based law firm, Gable Gottwalls, as a shareholder. They have a great culture. They're great community partners, not just in Tulsa, but throughout the state of Oklahoma. And I'm going to have the chance to keep working in Native American law and practice. I'll be helping out with corporate investigations, cybersecurity, things that I've done my entire career.
And down the road, public office remains an intriguing possibility.
If ever that opportunity arises and my wife supports it, then God willing, that could be a path that we'll pursue.
Interim replacements for all three Oklahoma U.S. attorneys have been named. In the Northern District, First Assistant Clint Johnson steps in for Shores. Johnson is a U.S. Army colonel who has served as a military judge. Tim Downing will join the staff of Oklahoma Attorney General Mike Hunter. His replacement is Bob Kuester, Downing's First Assistant U.S. Attorney. And in the Eastern District, First Assistant Christopher Wilson will serve on an interim basis, replacing Brian Kuester.